Hi students, good morning. Today we are going to learn the history second lesson, Nationalism in India, fourth part, third topic, fourth part. First topic we have learned at that the first World War, Khilafat and non-cooperation movement. In it the idea of Satyagraha. Then second one is the Rowlatt Act. The third one, why non-cooperation movement. Okay, and then second topic, different stands within the movement. In it the movement in the town, second one, the rebellion in the countryside, third one, Swaraj in the plantation. Next third topic, towards towards civil disobedience. So first one, the Salt March and the civil disobedience movement. Okay, and the next, the second one, how participants saw the movement. We have completed the first one, so now we are going to learn the second one. What is that? How participants saw the movement. So there are so many people participate in the non-cooperation movement and the civil disobedience movement. So now we can learn about that. What is that? In the countryside, rich peasant, there are four people: rich peasant, poor peasant, business people, and women. There are four. What is that? Rich, first one, rich, second one, poor, third one, business, fourth one, women. Now we are going to learn what is that? The four people we are going to learn about the four people participant in Sadamur. How they in their view, what is the non-cooperation movement and the civil disobedience movement. The first one, in the countryside, rich peasant. What is that? In the countryside, village side, rich peasant communities like the Paditas of Gujarat. Okay, Padita, this is one kind of group of people. Okay, Gujarat, and Jats of Uttar Pradesh. Paditar Gujarat, one mark. These are one mark. Paditas are Gujarat and Jats are Uttar Pradesh. Were active in the being producer of commercial crops. They were very hard hit by trade depression and falling prices. Okay, they are harvesting more crops. On the time. Okay, falling prices. So விலையெல்லாம் குறைஞ்சிடுச்சு. Falling prices, they were depressed as their cash income disappeared. They found it impossible to pay the government revenue demand. Yes, because of reduced rate, they can't pay the tax. So, and the refusal of the government to reduce the revenue demand led to widespread resentment. So, the government is not reducing the tax also. At the same time, they are not increasing the price of the food grains. So they get anger. Resentment means anger. These rich peasants became enthusiastic supporters of civil disobedience movement. They are not satisfied with the British government, so they have joined with Gandhiji's civil disobedience movement, organizing their communities under the time of forcing reluctant means hesitation, reluctant members to participate in the boycott programs. So for them, the fight for Swaraj was the struggle of against high revenue. So rich peasant, what is meant by Swaraj? For rich peasant, what is meant by Swaraj? So struggle against the high revenue. They are fighting against the high revenue. Each and every people is having different needs, but they were deeply disappointed when the movement was called off 1931. So because of some problem, Gandhiji call off means cancel the civil disobedience movement. In this time, the active participants are unhappy without the revenue rate being revised. They want to reduce the revenue tax. But Gandhiji effort is waste. So they are not reducing the rate, even though they have cancelled the cooperation movement, non-cooperation movement, and the civil disobedience movement. So when the movement was restarted 1931, many of them refused to participate because Gandhiji himself do the civil disobedience movement and the call of the civil disobedience movement. Because of that, the merchants were not happy. And the next, this is the first one rich people, second one poorer, the poor people, the poor peasantry were not just instead of lowering of the revenue demand. Yes, they don't want to reduce the demand of revenue. Many of them were small tenants means kuttagaikarargal. Okay, from landlords they are getting the land for small amount of money and cultivate the land. Cultivating land they had rented from landlord. Yes, they will give some money to landlords and get the land 1 year, 2 year or 5 year. They will do the cultivation. As the depression continued and the cash income dwindled. Okay, because of this depression, civil disobedience movement, they can't get more cash. So small tenants found it difficult to pay the rent. To the landlords, they can't pay the amount because of the reducing price. They wanted the unpaid rent to the landlord to be remitted. So what is the freedom of the poor people? They want to reduce the, what is that, reduce the unpaid rent. அந்த குத்தகைக்கு வாங்கின லேண்டுக்கு பணத்தை வந்து கம்மி பண்ண சொல்கிறாங்க. ஓகேவா, ரெமிட்டட். தே ஜாயின்ட் ஏ வெரைட்டி ஆஃப் ரேடிக்கல். ஓகே, ரேடிக்கல் மீன் டெரரிஸ்ட் மூமெண்ட். தே ஜாயின்ட் த யங் காங்கிரஸ் பீப்புள் லைக் ஜவஹர்லால் நேரு, நாட் மோதிலால் நேரு, ஜவஹர்லால் நேரு, சுபாஷ் சந்திர போஸ். ஸோ தே ஆர் ஜாயின்ட் வித் தெம் அண்ட் ஆஃபன் லெட் பை socialist communist. They are doing some apprehensive means making fear of rising issues that might upset the rich peasants and landlord. The Congress was unwilling to support no rent. So the Congress people not ready to support no rent, but because of some problem they are ready to support the no rent campaign in most places. So the relationship between the poor peasant and the Congress remain uncertain, not strong. Uncertain means not strong. Because of this problem, what is that? They are not happy and then they are not mingle with the Congress. The poor peasant not mingle with the Congress. So the rich people over, poor people over. Third one, business class. What is that? The business class. Third one, what about the business class? How did they relate to civil disobedience movement during the First World War? Yes, during the First World War, British can't control all the India and all the world because maximum of the place captured by British people. So in the First World War, Indian merchant and industrial had made huge profit and become powerful. For the First World War, the army dresses, weapons and some other materials need for British. So they have given more opportunity for Indian merchant. So on the First World War, merchants got more profit and they became powerful. Keen on expanding their business, they now reacted against the colonial policies that restricted business activities. They wanted to production against the import of foreign goods and the rupee sterling foreign exchange ratio that would discourage import. So now again the British ruling India powerfully. So because of that the merchants were affected. They are making more taxes and they are importing the production of England. Because of that local merchants were affected. So they want to stop the import. Then to organize business interest, they formed the Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress 1920. They are making some formation Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress 1921 mark. Next, Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Yes, FICF, Federation of Indian Chamber Commerce and Industries, FICCI in 1927. led by prominent industrial like Purushottam Das and Tagore Das and G.D. Birla. The industrial attacks colonial control over the Indian economy and supported civil disobedience movement when it was first launched. Yes, if we want to make a rally, இப்போ ஒரு போராட்டம் ஒரு கூட்டம் நடத்தணும்னா நமக்கு கண்டிப்பாக பணம் வேணும். We need money. So these companies were giving the money for making the rally and meeting. So they gave financial assistance and refused to buy or sell import goods. So what the industries are telling, we want to stop the import, we don't want to sell or buy the goods, material of foreign. So most businessmen came to Swaraj as a time when colonial restrictions on business would no longer exist and the trade and industry would flourish without constraint. So because of that, more companies and were and some other companies were flourished. கட்டுப்பாடு இல்லாமல் நிறைய வந்துருச்சு. ஸோ ஓகே, they are making more. But after the failure of round table conference, business group were no longer uniformly enthusiastic. So round table, totally how many round table conference? 3 round table conference I told you. In the 3 round table conferences, second round table conference Mahatma Gandhi joined. In the 3 round table conference also, who did participate? Ambedkar only participate in 3 round table conference also. So they were apprehensive of the spread of militant activity, worried about belonging. So prolonged means late disruption of business as well as of growing influence of socialism among the youngster members of Congress. The industrialist people fear about the youngster. And the next British people, if British people can take the company of industry and military activities. So because of that, the industrialists were get fear. The industrial working class did not participate in civil disobedience movement in large numbers. So all the industries are not participating in civil disobedience movement except in the Nagpur region people only participate, all other people not participate. As the industrialists came closer to the Congress, workers stayed aloof. Yes, when the industrial people, the leaders of the head of industries were come and closed to the Congress, but workers stayed aloof as away. Okay, அவங்க வந்து ஒதுங்கிட்டாங்க workers. But in spite of that, some workers did participate in civil disobedience movement, selectively adopting some of the idea of Gandhiji program. So some industrialist people accepted because Gandhiji's ideas like boycott the foreign goods, stop the import. Yes, that kind of ideas were liked by industrialists. So few industrialists were give recognition. Follow Gandhiji, like boycott foreign goods and as part of their own movement against the low wages, low salary and poor working condition. There were strike by, so because of that, so many people going to make strike. There was strike by railway workers, railway workers in 1930. 1 mark, 1930 railway workers and dock worker means working in ship. 1932 dock workers. In 1930, thousands of workers in Chota Nagpur tin mine, which mine? Tin mine ore. Gandhiji they are wearing tin mine. They are wearing Gandhiji pictures of caps and participate in protest rallies. Rallies na தெருவில் ஊர்வலமாக நடந்து போகிறது. Rallies and boycott campaign. But the Congress was reluctant. They are making the reluctant mean தயக்கம். அவங்க வந்து தயங்குறாங்க. Reluctant to include worker demand for the part of its program of struggle. It felt that this would alienate industrialists and divide the anti-imperial force. Finally, another important okay, that's all. So business class were over. Next, women. Yes, large number of participation of women. Another important features of civil disobedience movement. Women were participate in the program. During Gandhiji's halt march, thousands of women came out of their homes to listen him. Yes, every night. I told you daily he was walking 10 miles, 16 kilometers. After that, in night time, 1 or 2 hour, he is speaking with the people. Okay, he is making one meeting and speaking with the people. He gave his speech on the time. Thousands of women were come and hear the speech of Gandhiji. They participated in protest marches, manufactured salt. Okay, they want to participate in the march. Okay, the rally marches, salt march, manufactured salt and picketed foreign cloth. They participate in the march, then they are making salt. Next, picketed the foreign cloth. They stopped they are not buying the foreign cloth, and they closed the liquor shop. What that liquor shop? Many went to jail because of that. Many of the women, not only men, they have arrested women also. So many went to jail in urban area. These women were from high caste families in the cities, town. Okay, high caste people in coming from cities. In rural area, they came from rich peasant household. But in rural area, those are rich peasant, நல்ல வசதியான விவசாயிங்க, அந்த வீட்டில் இருக்க லேடிஸ் மட்டும் வராங்க. Okay, moved by Gandhiji's call, they began to see service to the nation as a sacred duty of women. Okay, in the what is the sacred duty of women? Not only working in home, they want to come out of the home. Yet this increased public role did not necessarily mean any radical change in the way the position of women as visualized. What is that? Always visualizing. Yes, ladies, women in home. Gandhiji was convinced that it was the duty of women not only looked to after home and hearth. The women were taking care of home and hearth, kitchen. Hearth means kitchen. Be good mother, not only a good mother, not only a good wife. And for a long time the Congress was reluctant to allow women to hold any position of authority within the organization. At first the Congress people is thinking what that the female is want to stay in home. After that they have given recognition. It was keen only on their symbolic present. So there are four. First one rich people, second one poor people, third one business people, fourth one women. That's all over. Next topic, the limits of civil disobedience. What are the limits for the civil disobedience movement? Not all social groups were moved by abstract concept of Swaraj. Not all the people moved by concept of Swaraj. எங்களுக்கு எல்லாருமே சுதந்திரம் வேணும்னு கேட்கல. One such group was the National Untouchable. ஓகேவா? Yes, in Hindu, high caste people, low caste people. So there are more caste are in Hindu religion. So untouchable who from around 1930s, what is that 1930s, had begun to call themselves Dalit and the oppressed people. Dalit, SC people, ST people. Okay, SC people called Dalit, ST people called oppressed. Dalit or oppressed. For long the Congress had ignored the Dalit. So they don't want to make take the problem of Dalit, because the high caste Hindus make some problem. Because of that Gandhiji is not taking the problem of Dalit. So for fear of offending the Sanatanis, the conservative high caste Hindu Sanatanis people, so but Mahatma Gandhi declared that Swaraj would not come for 100 years if untouchability was not. But after that he is thinking about the problem of Dalit and say this sentence. What is the sentence? 100 வருஷம் ஆனாலும் நம்மளால் சுதந்திரம் வாங்க முடியாது. ஓகே, அன்டச்சபிலிட்டி வந்து இருந்ததுன்னா ஓகேவா, எலிமினேட்டட். ஹி கால்டு த அன்டச்சபிலிட்டி ஹரிஜன். ஸோ த அன்டச்சபிலிட்டி எஸ்சி பீப்புள் இஸ் காலிங் த எஸ்சி பீப்புள் the children of God. What is the calling the SC people is children of God. Organized satyagraha to secure them entry into temple. So Gandhiji organized the satyagraha and secure the Harijans. Okay, the children of God. Yes, before that the high caste people not allow the low caste people to inside the temple. So he inform them to allow the SC people into temple and access to public well. And I am not mentioning the caste. Okay, so you want to understand, because of that only I am telling about that. Okay, so here Dalit people, they have mentioned Dalit people. He himself cleaned, so he entry into the temple and access to the public well. Public பொது கிணத்துலேருந்து தண்ணி எடுக்கிறது, public well and tanks. They have used the tanks, roads and school. The Dalit people also can come to the school. Dalit people can use the road. These problems were solved by Gandhiji. He himself cleaned the toilet. So Gandhiji want to give response for sweepers. So what is that? Sweepers. So he himself cleaned the toilet and persuaded upper caste to change their heart and give up the sin of untouchability. So he requested the high caste people to give equal rights of Dalit people. But many Dalit leaders were keen on different political solution to the problems of community. But Dalit people also having famous leaders like Ambedkar. What they are telling, they need separate. So they began organizing themselves, demanding reserved seat, separate seat, demanding the for in election also. For example, in our area, Chidambaram area, reserved seat. The Dalit people only can participate. Because of that only Thirumavalavan also win here. So Dalit people, so demanding reserved seats in educational institution and separate electorate that would choose Dalit and Dalit members for legislative council. In legislative council they have asked demanding for reserved seat. So political empowerment they believed would resolve the problems of the social disability. Dalit participation in civil disobedience movement was therefore limited, particularly in the Maharashtra Nagpur region where the organization was quite strong. Dalit because in North India, Maharashtra, Ambedkar born in Maharashtra. Okay, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who organized the Dalit into depressed classes association in 1930, he made Dalit people. Okay, Ambedkar was one of the famous leader. He full fought for Dalit people. Okay, so he clashed with Mahatma Gandhi. He is fighting with Mahatma Gandhi at the second roundtable conference by demanding separate electorate Dalit. Okay, he is asking some demands for Dalit people in second roundtable conference. Okay, but Gandhiji was thinking, if the British government give separate beneficial for Dalit people, it is separating the people. So we can't get freedom quickly. So when the British government considered Ambedkar demand, Gandhiji began fast unto death, Sagumurai Unnavradam. So Gandhiji started his fasting, breakfast. I told fast unto death. He believed that separate electoral for Dalit would slow down the process of their integration into the society. So if they are giving separate, if the British government is giving separate to the Dalit, it is slow down the process of freedom. So Ambedkar ultimately accepts. So after that Ambedkar understand that and ultimately accepted Gandhiji's position, and the result was Pune Pact. What is that? Pune Pact of September 92. 1 mark. September 1932. 1932. So it gave depressed class. What is that? Scheduled class. SC, ST. SC means scheduled caste. Pune Pact. Scheduled caste reserved seat provincial and central legislative council, but they were to be voted in by the general electorate. The Dalit movement, however, continued to be apprehensive of the Congress-led national movement. So first they got reserved seat, then Muslim also, because Muslim also minority, Hindus only majority, Muslim, Christian and everything minority. So they also asking reserved seat like SC people, scheduled caste. SC means scheduled. SC means scheduled caste. Okay. Some of the Muslim political organizations in India were also lukewarm. Lukewarm means mandama irukkuradhu. Okay. Romba interest oda participate பண்ணல. They are not participating interestingly. So in their response to the civil disobedience movement after the decline of the non-cooperation Khilafat movement, a large section of Muslims felt alienated from the Congress. So maximum of the Muslim people come out of Congress party, after non-cooperation and Khilafat movement. From mid 1920s, the Congress came to be more visibly associated with openly Hindu religion nationalist group like Hindu Mahasabha. So Congress is giving more importance for Hindu. It is making the problem between Hindu and Muslim, as the relation between Hindu and Muslim worsened. So very worst. Hindu Muslim ரொம்ப சண்டை போட்டுக்க ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. Each community organized religious procession with militant fervor, provoking Hindu-Muslim communal clash and riot in various cities. So many more cities, okay, more places, Hindu and Muslim were fighting, cruelly attacking one people to another people. So every riot deepened the distance between two communities. So when they are fighting one to another, it is making the problem of Hindu and Muslim. So the Congress and the Muslim League made effort renegotiate. Okay, பேச்சுவார்த்தை நடத்துறாங்க. So renegotiate and alien, and 1927 it appeared that such unity could be forged. So 1927 they are coming together. The important difference were over the question of representation in the future assemblies that were to be elected. Muhammad Ali Jinnah is one of the leader of Muslim League, was willing to give up the demand for separate electorate if Muslims were assured reserved seat in Central Assembly and representation in proportion to the population in the Muslim dominate provinces. What is that? First Ambedkar asked for scheduled caste. Now Muhammad Ali Jinnah asked for Muslim dominated provinces. எந்தெந்த மாகாணங்களில், okay, what are the provinces having more Muslims? They are asking reserved seat, Bengal and Punjab. Negotiation over the question representation continued, but all hope of resolving the issue at the all parties conference in 1928 disappeared when M.R. Jaikar of Hindu Mahasabha strongly opposed effort of compromise. So all the parties come together and making negotiation பேச்சுவார்த்தை. On the time M.R. Jaikar not accepted. M.R. Jaikar not, because he is a Hindu, he want to give more important for Hindu. Because of that is failure, that negotiation failure. When the civil disobedience started, there was thus an atmosphere of suspicion and distrust between communities. So because of this, what is that? The communities, Hindu, Muslim and some other communities, okay, religious and communities Because of that, okay, they are not having full hope. They are not having full hope. Alienated from the Congress, large sections of Muslim could not respond to the call for united struggle. So Gandhiji asked united struggle, okay, cooperation movement, and something civil disobedience movement. The large Muslims were not participated. Many Muslim leaders and intellectuals expressed their concern about the status of Muslim as minority within India. What they are thinking, in India, Muslims were minority. Muslims were minorities. So they feared that the culture and identity of minority would be submerged under the domination of Hindu majority. Because of Hindu majority, maybe Muslims culture will be destroyed. They feared what they feared. Maybe Muslims culture will be destroyed. Okay, that's all. So next class we can do the fourth topic. Thank you.